Have you ever stopped to wonder what you've been measuring your worth against? In today's episode, I'm joined by Missy, and what started as a conversation about her daughter with ADHD became something much bigger. We explore how so many of us unknowingly judge ourselves using society's expectations, achievement, and external measures of success, and why true self-worth was never meant to come from any of those things. So if you've ever felt like you're not enough, I think this conversation might help you see yourself in a completely different way. Missy, I want to ask you, if as a parent of a neurodivergent child, what do you wish every parent understood about ADHD?
Gosh, that is such a great question. I think based on my experience with my sweet daughter, Taylor, who is now getting ready to turn 25, I would say the greatest thing she has taught me that I would love for all parents to know is your child does not need to fit a cultural standard. That is not their job. They did not come in the world to be fit into one standard. And she has helped me really see that she is an expression of life. She is a gift to this world. The way that life chose to express Taylor and the way that life arises as an expression of each of us, of each person, however they come into the world, is beautiful. They are not a self-improvement project. Our role, I think, truly as parents or people who help others that are neurodivergent is not to take them on as a self-improvement project, but to go into things with curiosity, to help them become students of themselves, to really find that perfection inside them. Yeah.
I love it. Thanks. Just very inspirational. And we were talking earlier, weren't we? And you were saying that Taylor has taught you things. So what has Taylor taught you?
Oh gosh. Taylor has definitely been my greatest teacher. I really was not even aware of ADHD. And it was still sort of a new diagnosis way back in the day. We knew Taylor just simply struggled. She struggled in school. She struggled in any kind of activity that required organization or sitting still or focusing. We just thought, oh my gosh, we have this child that struggles a lot. And it wasn't until a few years later into her elementary school that we sort of realized, oh wait, this sort of fits in with this new thing called ADHD. And we went through all the testing, and I would say the biggest things Taylor taught me early on when we were first kind of adjusting to this ADHD diagnosis was she's actually beautiful and perfect and creative and sensitive and kind. And she has so much to offer the world, and the world has so much to learn from her. I think going into this as a young mother who didn't know any better, was so innocent, I thought my job was to fix her. Like, I really, truly believed that a loving mother, a mother who wants her daughter to be successful in the world, like that job means making my child fit in. And she taught me, no, it can't be about her fitting in. It's about her discovering just how amazing she is inside with those neurodivergent tendencies that she has. And what I think too, without being too long-winded, she really helped me see that it's both and. We don't dismiss the label. We don't dismiss the diagnosis. We actually allow the ADHD diagnosis to be a doorway into discovering, not becoming, but discovering, remembering just how awesome she is inside. So yes, she started on medication. She continues to be on medication. we are all so grateful for her ADHD meds. I think they have been such a godsend. So this isn't about compartmentalizing either or. It's saying, yes, we have this amazing diagnosis and we have resources. Let's use them. And at the same time, let's go inside and see what's in there, the awesomeness, the beauty. That's what she's taught me. Yeah.
Wow. Where do I go from there? That's kind of just
Sorry, I tend to be a little verbose after my triple shot espresso from Starbucks. So we can blame Starbucks.
Not at all. No, I just love it. So it sounds like it's all positive. Has there been anything that's been challenging, would you say? Or
Oh,
what, I know that you any struggles?
There have been so many tears. In fact, as soon as you said that, the one that came to my mind was my really good friend, Amy. I won't say her last name. My friend down the street, Amy. This was years and years ago. Taylor must have been in late elementary, middle school, maybe grade 5, grade 6, grade 7. And she was just struggling so much academically. And it felt like every day was just a nightmare to try to get her through the school day, get her to do homework, get her to finish assignment, and then remember to take the assignment from our house to the school or take it from her book bag to a teacher. It was just, it was such a struggle. And I remember my friend Amy coming to my door one day, and she was standing in the doorway, and her daughter was also Taylor. So we had Taylor A and Taylor M, and they were best buddies. And we were talking about like a play date or something coming up. And she just made this very simple comment because her Taylor A was like the star student. She fit in, she got straight A's. And she said something about an assignment or a project. I can't remember. And I just started sobbing, like just standing in the doorway sobbing, because when she mentioned the assignment or project, it hit me. Taylor didn't mention it, which means my Taylor probably didn't do it, which means my Taylor probably got a 0. And her daughter was shining. And I just remember standing in the doorway. That image will never go away of just crying. And Amy reached out and she hugged me and she was like, "What did I say?" I was like, "No, I just realized that the project you're talking about, I don't know about," which means once again, my daughter's going to get a failing grade. So and that was grade, like I said, maybe 5, 6, or 7, those middle years. And we had been struggling with this since kindergarten. I don't know what the equivalent of that is in Europe, but the grade before grade 1. And yes, my gosh, I cannot tell you the number of tears she shed and I shed over just not understanding how to get her to, quote, succeed, until I finally woke up from that illusion that my job is to help my daughter succeed. And I'm saying that with air quotes because that was never my job. But yes, my God, I could write a book just about the struggles. And from the lens I'm looking through today, honestly, Juliet, I'm so grateful for those struggles. Kind of like I'm grateful for my season of chronic illness that I went through. I'm grateful for the struggles Taylor and I went through together. It bonded us. It made us closer than ever. One of the things I'll share with you later is a letter that I wrote to her soccer coach. And I posted the letter on Facebook in a private parent group. It ended up getting over 1,000 comments because basically I said in my letter, and again, I think I've even shared the letter in Little School of Big Change back in the day, but basically in the letter, I was thanking this soccer coach who sacked my daughter. She was a varsity team player. Soccer was her life. Soccer was her joy. Soccer was the one place she could shine when school didn't let her shine. But there were so many rules about you have to have this grade in order to play soccer. And when your grades fall, you can't play. And it was awful. And she got sacked from the team. And it was like in that one brief decision, the thing that brought her joy was taken away. And when I stopped crying after 2 days, and she stopped crying after 2 days, and even my husband, who does not cry, stopped crying, I wrote a letter to her coach, thanking him for giving us an opportunity to help her see who she truly is. Beyond soccer, beyond grades, beyond all that stuff, he gave us the gift of helping her see that her worth and her value and her awesomeness and her ability to be loved were never at stake. They were never tied to a grade. They were never tied to her playing time on the soccer field. So yes, we struggled. She still has struggles. She's in graduate school right now, believe it or not, earning her doctorate. She is going to graduate Dr. Maiorano. But with the struggles have come our greatest miracles have come, that they've been born out of those struggles. So yeah, I'm grateful for them. And I believe Taylor would say the same thing if she was here. She is grateful for those struggles, for being sacked from the soccer team, for not being able to keep her grades high enough, all the things. Yeah, she sees who she is now deeply, and nothing can take that away from her.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe there's something you've seen for yourself around that, because I know you've spoke before about your childhood and wanting, feeling like your worth as part of, you used to think it was about achieving. Yeah. And I know that came into like the health struggles that you had. So do you feel this is all linked about how we see our worth as humans, and, and how sometimes it's measured in society?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that you use the word measured, because that's kind of how I think of this, not just with ADHD, not just with any kind of neurodivergence. I have relationships with and work with people with all different neurodivergence, whether it's autism, ADHD, like there's so much. And what it comes down to is our world, our culture. It's like we're using the wrong measuring stick. We're measuring the wrong things culturally as a society to determine our value and our worth and our inner goodness and well-being. And it's like we've all fallen into this hypnotic trance of using the wrong measuring stick, the wrong tool. And we measure things like grades, success on, the soccer field, the football field. We measure these things and say, you are a good person. You are a successful person. You are worthy because of these things. And what Taylor has taught me, and my sister, and anyone else with any kind of neurodivergent label, is let's wake up from this hypnotic trance. Let's wake up. Let's not stay hypnotized by these measuring tools. And let's look at things like kindness, the ability to not abandon ourselves, the ability to turn inward and offer love. Because at the end of the day, those are the things that are stable. Those are the things that count for the long haul. And people like Taylor, they're the leaders. They're the ones leading the charge on this. They are the superstars. I'm grateful for them.
Can you say more about that? Like when you say they are the leaders, they are the leading the charge. Tell me, what do you mean by that?
I think people like Taylor are leading the charge. I mean, I'm grinning right now, ear to ear, for those of you just listening and not seeing this. God, she is just so freaking amazing, because having these neurodivergent tendencies, like having a nervous system and a brain that kind of goes in a different path, it has been the catalyst for her to dig deep, to go into her belly and her heart and her soul and find out who she is. Because I think, and I discovered this for myself during my chronic health challenges, when you literally cannot meet the world's expectations, you just can't do it. Like, you try everything. You come close to basically like killing yourself trying to fit in, to match the world's expectations, whether it's from a health diagnosis like mine or an ADHD diagnosis. When you have exhausted every resource to fit into this impossible model, you give up. I used to think of it like having your face pressed against the asphalt. Like, you're just down and out, and you just give up. You're like, screw it, I can't do it. That, I think, is what gives people like Taylor the impetus to discover what cannot be taken away. That inner strength, power, goodness, well-being. And if you are in touch with who you are on the inside, that stable part of you, well, of course you're going to lead the charge for the rest of us who are still like, I picture us all like, before we kind of wake up to this, we're like doggy paddling at the surface of the water, like barely keeping our chins above the water. Like, I can keep up. I can keep up. And I picture the people like Taylor being like, ah, you guys are adorable, but let me just show you a different way. Stand up. The water's only 2 feet deep. Stop doggy paddling. Stop keeping your chin above the water as if you're about to drown. Stop it. And then I picture all the Taylors of the world just standing up, and the water only goes to their knees. And they're like, look, when you stop making yourself a self-improvement project, when you stop doggy paddling and you just stand up and you own who you are, you see that the water was never that deep. Just stand up. Just walk. Yeah, they lead the charge. They have figured this out. So we're still doggy paddling.
What would you say to some of my listeners that might be thinking, well, that sounds great, just stand up. But if they don't feel safe and they feel like it's dangerous to stand up, they might drown. What would you, because I know a lot of people do feel like that they're in survival mode, and it doesn't feel quite that easy. So we can hear the words, just stand up, but actually it doesn't quite resonate.
No. And when I say just stand up, that's not as something to do. It's a description. It's a description of what is possible when we're simply open. I think safety is the key to all of this. Feeling safe in your own body, feeling safe in your own nervous system. And that goes across everything. Like, it's not just ADHD. It's not just neurodivergent people. It is all human people. The core of all of this is feeling safe in our own skin, feeling safe in our own body. And the question, as I hear it, is, well, how do we do that? Like, if we're in survival mode, if we're in this, survival mode, which is, I think,
the doggy paddle.
Yes, the doggy paddle. I can keep my chin up if I just keep my hands going fast enough.
Yeah.
I think that is our default right now as a society, although I do think we're coming out of it collectively. So the question, how do we find safety in our body? How do we feel safe enough so that just standing up happens organically as a byproduct, because just standing up cannot be a command. It can't be a doing. It has to be a seeing, a feeling, a sensing. So for people who are still in that survival mode, which, gosh, I was for, I don't know, how old am I? 55. I would say I was in that survival mode for 50 years. And it's not a doing. But I think if there's any leverage here to sort of give you hope that this is 100% on offer and possible no matter where you are in this journey, it's that it, as far as I can see, starts with simply being open. That right now, whatever state your nervous system is in, whether it's in absolute, what I used to call my gun to the head terror, whether it's in any part of that survival protective instinct, simply being open to the way your nervous system is presenting itself right now is perfect. It is already right now perfect. And I know a mind is going to jump in and say, no, are you kidding? I'm in gun to the head terror. And I get that. I was in gun to the head terror for a very, very long time, as you know, Juliet. But it's like just being open to going beyond the logical, going beyond what our culture has taught us, going beyond that incessant mind that will always point very hard to negative, catastrophic, and saying, hold on. I am open to allowing this nervous system, however it is right now, to be what it is and simply make some space for it. That's it. So if you're in gun to the head terror, ask the question without answering it. Could I possibly make a little more space for gun to the head terror to be here? Could I grow around it? I picture like a stable, not a stable, the fence that goes around horses, a corral. Clearly, I am not an outdoorsy farm kind of person. I picture like a corral that holds horses, and some people's corral just happens to have like really wild bucking horses. What do? We don't like get rid of the horses. We grow the corral. We make it bigger. I have a very hot running nervous system. I was born with it. I still have it now at 55. I have a corral full of wild bucking horses in my nervous system. I used to call that gun to the head terror. What happened was I simply was open to making more space, growing the corral bigger, like, okay, wild horses are here. Hi, I can make space for you. You don't have to love it. You don't have to be excited about it or happy about it. I don't even think that's possible in the beginning. But I think we start with something as simple as, can I be open to making more space for the way my nervous system is presenting itself right now? Safety is already here. We're just remembering it. And when we soften the entire landscape, I think what's already there, which is safety, will tend to start shimmering and bubbling up to the surface. This is not something to achieve. It is not something to strive for. It is almost just sort of like making space for this moment exactly as it is. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I think what I'm hearing is like dropping any resistance and just allowing what is, because the fear is like a fear of the fear itself.
Yeah.
That's what I see with a lot of my clients, that they're fearful of the fear. And actually, when we just allow ourselves to feel whatever is in our body and in our nervous system, like you say, it's all okay. And so I think we said this in the last one where we talked, was where the obstacle, the thing we think is the thing in the way, actually is the way. That's the thing that opened the door.
Uh-huh.
And the thing we're scared of is really, it's just like, you know, when you're a child and you're scared in the middle of the night and you think there's a monster, and in the morning you realize it was just a dressing gown on the door,
Yeah.
and oh, that's all it was. And in a way, I feel like that's what we're all running away from, this fear that's actually, it's, yes, there can be, you know, like some degree of getting used to that and feeling the safety of that. Like when you're using your analogy about just stand up and the water's only 2 feet tall, maybe we need to hold on to the side a little bit just to know that it's only 2 feet tall. And we do it gradually and maybe put our feet down a little bit, and then, you know, it might take a while, but we're always safe, aren't we? We're always safe. We know that. And the understanding that we share, that we are pure spiritual beings having a human experience, and
100%.
there is nothing to fear. But we're all running away from this thing that it's a belief, isn't it? A belief.
It's a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding.
It is a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And again, this is not to have judgment or shame or blame. We wake up when we wake up. When we are lost in misunderstanding, even that is trustworthy. It's not a flaw. It's not something going wrong because you're lost in misunderstanding. Being in the state where you're still doggy paddling and living in terror or survival mode is not something going wrong. You haven't lost your way. This isn't about you. You are always safe. And the process of remembering safety often looks messy, non-linear. It's very loop-de-loop. And I love that you say, grab hold of the side if that helps. Hold someone's hand if that helps. I always tell people we need to meet ourselves where we are. So if the perception still looks true, I am not safe, we can't fake our way into safety. We can't pretend our way. So we meet ourselves where we are. And I love that. If that means holding a hand, hold a hand. But at the end of the day, the most important thing I see in this journey of baby step, baby step, baby step is along the way, love the one who's taking the journey. Be with her or him. If you take so-called 3 steps forward and 3 back or 4 back, love that one. If you need to hold both sides of the pool to test standing up, hold both sides and love the one that still needs to hold both sides of the pool or hold 2 hands of somebody else. Every step of the journey is perfect. There's no rush here. You're already safe. Like, that is a stable foundation. You're already safe. You're just learning to remember it. So it's like playing a video game, I picture. Like when you play a video game, you know that at the end of the day, as you're going through the levels and you're playing whatever it is you're playing, the good guys and the bad guys, and you're doing the little gears, the joystick or whatever it is, at the end of the day, you're going to set that down and you're going to close your laptop or whatever you're playing on, and you're going to go eat your dinner, or you're going to go have a iced coffee. The safety never leaves. But while you're in the video game, your heart's racing and you're on edge, but your safety never leaves. That's how it is in this life. You're going to play all the different games in this life, and you're going to have the moments of feeling on the edge of your seat and panicked or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, who you are is never, ever at risk. There's no danger. You are safe. And what an amazing journey it is to remember that. But it's sometimes really messy, and that can be fun too.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I used to be a swimming teacher. And so this really resonates for me, the whole thing about, feeling the safety of the water holding you. I feel like it's an analogy for life, really, that life is like the water, and
Mm-hmm.
but we might not feel safe knowing that we can just float. We have to like learn that ourselves. And so someone telling you just stand up, we know that won't work. But it can take a while. Like, I used to teach. The first person I ever taught was this 80-year-old gentleman, and he was absolutely terrified when he came to the pool. He actually cancelled the lesson like 3 times before he even turned up. And then at the first lesson, we didn't even get near the pool. We sat right at the side, waving the water. And I worked with him for about a year, and it was baby steps. And it was just like getting him just to feel that water holding him, like just gradually, like taking a little bit of the float away. And then he always wanted to swim with dolphins, actually, in California. And when his children were young, he'd had to watch from the side because he was so scared. He'd had a really bad experience when he was growing up. When someone had pushed his head underwater, an actual swimming teacher, would you believe? And he always regretted that and wanted to do it. And I got a postcard a year after we'd met, and it was from California. And he said, he had swum with the dolphins and with his grandchildren this time and his older children. And that just like, I was just filled with joy for him, really, because he achieved this dream. But I always feel like it's an analogy as well for like kind of feeling that safety. Yeah, it doesn't always you can't do it straight away sometimes. Sometimes you can, but more rarely, I'd say. And just to feel that, that the life will hold you, but we don't always know it until we've got that felt sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we might need to, like you said, hold on to the side, hold someone's hand, like he was holding my hand. And so that's my little story.
I love that metaphor of the water is just like life. Like life is holding us, and it's not something you can try to see or try to feel. But I do think it's helpful to hear it like as a possibility, like, oh, it is possible to have the experience of life holding me, life guiding me. And I think it serves like a lighthouse or a shining star. It's not that we're striving for it, but we open ourselves to the possibility. Like, just be curious that it is possible to have that felt sense knowing, like in your belly, that you're being lived, you're being held. And in the meantime, I keep calling it a journey because I can't think of another word, or a path, kind of like your swim student. It took a year of even just starting by looking at the pool, or clients I work with who are afraid of driving. We don't start in the car. We start with things related to the car, or whatever those little baby steps are. I'd like to kind of revert back to the thing you said earlier about measuring. I think one of the helpful things on this path we're on is if we could stop measuring the way our culture taught us to measure. So success doesn't need to be, oh, yay, I had that feeling, or, oh, I did the swim, or, oh, I drove this far in the car, whatever we're using to measure, or I only had 4 panic attacks instead of 10. What if we set down that measuring stick forever and we picked up a new one? I was kind to myself when all I could do was look at the water, not get in. I offered myself compassion when I couldn't get in the car and drive. I gave myself grace when I had 16 panic attacks and could not go to the dinner or had to leave the dinner early. Instead of using staying at a dinner party, getting in the water, not having panic attacks as our measuring stick, could our only measuring sticks be kindness, grace, and compassion, and openness? Like, I'm open. I don't feel it. I don't understand this concept. I don't see how life could be holding me. But that's not a failure because we don't use that measuring stick anymore. Our measuring stick is now, but I'm open to it. And that is freaking amazing. It's kind of like, to circle back to Taylor, she stopped using those stupid grades on her report card, those A's and B's and C's and D's and F's, as her measuring tool for how good of a person am I? How valuable am I? To how do I show up for myself when things are hard? How kind am I to myself? How much grace do I give myself? And I think that changes everything. I love the phrase, it's what sets the table. And for my clients too, that are really struggling, they just can't get a felt sense of this and they're trying so hard. And I say, let's not try anymore. Stop trying to have the felt sense of life holding you. Instead, let's set the table. And all that means is let's prepare the space inside so that when life is ready to express itself as this felt sense, this knowing, this insight, you are ready. And preparing the table, setting the table, that's the simple part. It's showing kindness to me, showing compassion to me, showing grace to me. I have a client, we talked about this yesterday in office hours. It's a Ted Lasso quote for those of you who watch Ted Lasso. I'm obsessed with Ted Lasso. And there's a scene in Ted Lasso where Coach Roy Kent is answering some really angry reporters about something that happened. And he just points to his chest and his only answer is, I offer him love. And my client this week turned that around, and he had, in his mind, failed at this whole anxiety thing, failed. And then he smiled and he said, I offer me love. I offer me love. That sets the table for that shift out of survival mode into a mode of trusting life to carry you, to hold you. Changes everything. It's just simple. Kindergartners are taught this. Be kind. It's just turn it back around to you. Be kind to you. Be graceful to you. That sets the table.
Yeah. I was about to say, I love that. Like, ironically, I love the fact that you're talking about love. And I've actually just trained in something called MACE energy practitioning. And we have a game in life, and my game is to bring love. And we have a counter game, and my counter game is to with love, kind of put out fear, kind of thing, because fear is the opposite. Well, that's what my opposite is, and I feel like that's kind of what we've talked about in this episode. We've gone, from the fear and how that presents, and then obviously society and judgment and what that's all about. And then I think it just does come down to that, doesn't it? It's like love. If we approach everything with love, how could I see this with love, including ourselves, which we forget a lot, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Then, that's what it's about. So I do think, Missy, it might be time for us to wrap it up on that wonderful note. But I do know that you've got a poem, and I'm wondering,
yes.
how would you feel about ending with that poem?
I would love to end with a poem because I think it speaks very nicely to this. Really does all come down to love.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. It's a poem I wrote in response to your email questions about my experience with ADHD. When my daughter was little, I believed my job was to help her fit in, to help her succeed inside a world that seemed to have already decided what success looks like. I wanted her to meet the objectives, to finish on time, to stay organized, to remember the assignment, to keep up, to raise her hand at the right moment, to become the kind of student who made school feel easy, to shine like her big sister in school. not because I wanted to change who she was inside, but because I loved her so much. And I thought that's how love works. I thought love means helping someone become more like everyone else. I thought love means helping my sweet girl be the best version of herself, the one our culture told me she needs to be. And I didn't know any better until I did. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, my daughter began teaching me something my culture never had. She showed me that there is a profound difference between helping someone fit in and helping someone see that they already belong. Instead of, how can I make you more acceptable to the world? Her heart asks, how can I help you discover that you are already the most beautiful expression of life? Without either of us realizing it, my sweet girl was inviting me to lay down the measuring stick, the one that only sees percentages and comparisons. She was helping me to stop asking, how do we get you to the class average? And begin asking, who are you really? That question changed far more than the way I loved my daughter. It changed the way I love people, the way I see struggle, the way I see myself. Because I am beginning to see more deeply that whether someone has ADHD or anxiety or grief or no diagnosis at all, our deepest work cannot be a self-improvement project. Our deepest work is becoming a faithful student of who we already are. For so many years, I stood beside my daughter holding a measuring stick. Today, I sit beside her holding curiosity, because curiosity has never once asked her to become someone else. It has only whispered, tell me what it's like to be you. Tell me how to love you best. And somehow that has become the beginning of everything.
Wow. I feel a bit emotional. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Missy. That really was beautiful. And I'm
Thank
sure a
you.
lot of people will hear that and feel, a lot of maybe similar to me, because I think it really does speak to that self-acceptance, doesn't it? Of like, and loving ourselves just as we are and not trying to be somebody else to fit some sort of measurement of society or anything else or anyone else's expectation.
Yeah. This has been a gift, truly. Thank you for having me. And thank you for letting me just, tell about how much I love my daughter. That's what it comes down to. So thank you, Juliet. This was wonderful.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to oblige. And I just want to sort of finish with if anyone wanted to get hold of you or like work with you, because I know you're a coach and you help people with all sorts of things from like chronic kind of illness things and anxiety and panic attacks.
Yes.
Anything else that you'd like to mention? What's the best way for people to get hold of you?
Probably the easiest way is just through my website, which is just MissyMaioranoCoaching.com. And I'm sure it'll be in the show notes, because that Maiorano is a tough last name, but it's just MissyMaioranoCoaching.com. And from there, you can just see all kinds of stuff. And I have free resources and a YouTube channel. And I will add, one of the other things I tend to find myself working with a lot lately is people who are ready to start grieving, who have gone years or decades and are just now finally realizing, oh, there's a beautiful pool of grief ready to be expressed. And it's such an honor and a privilege to hold their hands through it. So yeah, I'd love to just offer anything I can.
And you also have like a free kind of group, don't you? Like, is it office hours, you call it?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Every Thursday, we are in our 5th year now, a little over 4.5 years. every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's completely free, completely open. You just have to register on my website. And it's such a great place to come for free and receive group coaching. It's wonderful.
That's an amazing resource. So anyone in the UK listening, that's 8 p.m. at the moment. Sometimes it might change.
Yes.
So, yeah,
and we have a lot of, oh, sorry, I interrupted, but we do have a lot of friends there from the UK.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you again, Missy, and I will see you soon, I'm sure. And and thanks to my listeners, and I'll see you next week.